seen walking in your direction. He will do what he said he will do. He will do what he promised.
All right, I apologize for that. Let me see. I apologize for that. I think it was a connection. Something just went off. If you guys can hear me, you can just signify. And my host is still here. My guest is still here. So I'm just going to start, real quick before I bring up my awesome guest. It's this vision the Lord has given unto me to raise nation giants. And something that is so dear to me. I'm so passionate about it. Sometime, someone asked me, he said, what do you really mean by raising nation giants? The height of this is to raise up voices, raise up people that feel condemned, raise up people who feel neglected. Because for you to be a giant, it means you're standing tall. It means you're a victor. It means you've been through the hot and cold of life. It means you've been through the thick part of life. You've seen the face of darkness, and now you're standing forth, as a light, in your world. So the vision is to raise nation giants, and we are all giants. We are all nation giants, and we're on board, in running this vision together. And it's amazing. Like I said, I'm Tomiwa, Oluyen, the president of the AV Nation, and the AV Nation is a church. It's a social global church, and running on the vision of raising nation giants and taking over nations for Christ. And to the glory of God, so many amazing testimonies springing forth from the AV Nation Church. And by the way, the AV Nation Church is taking up responsibility, huge responsibility at this time, of this pandemic or situation all across nations of the world. We recently just launched the site. It's the THN COVID relief project. It's being headed by the CEO of AV Nation. And to the glory of God, we've been helping people. At this point, we're obeying all authorities. We really can't go to homes to drop gifts or relief items like we'd love to, but the Lord has empowered us. We've been depositing funds in people's account. As of the last count I know of, I know we've helped over 10 to 12 people, from the AV Nation. And just to let you know that we're aware of the whole situation, and we're doing our best to help. And we're praying so strong, because it's a season that's going to be over. It's already over. I strongly believe it's already over. So let's get the ball rolling. My guest is in the house, and she was a bomb last night on the AV Nation platform. She was a bomb. Like, she just blew the whole place. Like, my CEO had to send me a private message like, where did you get this amazing lady from? She's a sister, she's a friend. So much I'll say about her. Let me just bring her on board first. Rubie, are you there? Let me see. She's here. She's here. So let me see. Okay. She's here. See, I'm bringing up Rubie right now. Amazing.
Hi guys. Hello.
Amazing. She's
Oh my God,
here.
Tomiwa, that was a lot, man. I kept asking myself, is it me they're talking about like that? But yeah, thank you so much
You were
for
powerful last night, like, to be
thank
honest.
God.
Like, you know, I don't know where that energy came from, but that was just the right words. Like, you
I feel
really
like
helped
yeah. I was
so
matching the
many broken
energy.
relationships.
I was matching the energy on
Man.
the group. So I feel like you guys were so
Wow.
amazing.
Wow.
You guys were so welcoming. You guys were so like the vibe was there. So I feel like you guys also have to take thumbs up. You have a part in it. So thank you so much for having me
Wow.
on both
Thank you.
both sides.
Thank you. Thank you. So how's
Yeah.
it been?
It's been good though. It's been fine. I mean, we're just trying to make the most of this extra time. But God,
That's
God is
good.
good. God has been faithful, honestly.
That's good. That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
So
Hi,
I have
Brighty.
Rubie right here. And first before we go into the session, I always want to give room for you to tell people about yourself. All I just know is that
Okay.
she's an amazing woman of God. And she's the founder of the FOCH
Yeah,
Foundation, right?
Fortune.
Watch
Yeah.
Women. Okay, so just tell us about it. Tell us about yourself before we go into
Okay,
the
that's fine.
session.
Okay. Hi guys, thank you so much for joining. Anyone who is joining now, anyone who will catch the live later, obviously. I think Tomo has already said it. My name is Rubie, and I just like to see myself as a Christian that really enjoys, worshiping God and also, leading hearts to Christ through the different things that God calls me to. So like he said, I run an NGO called Fortune. And the whole aim of Fortune is to raise a generation of value and purpose-driven young girls who are intentional about who they are and what they want. I've also got kind of like a little social enterprise. It's called Tech Rubies, and basically that is where I apply my technology knowledge, to help people, make their businesses better through technology. So really that's about it. I'm also a current researcher, obviously, at Portsmouth University, and it's been good. But aside all of that, really, I'm just Ruby and I'm a Christian and I love God. That's it, Tomiwa. I
Wow,
love Jesus.
wow, wow, wow. That's
Yeah.
amazing. That's amazing. Wow. So we're going straight right into this, and we're going to be talking about something amazing,
Mm-hmm.
because we're
Mm-hmm.
aware of the whole pandemic, whole situation across nations. And the funny part, even nations that are not really affected are even joining the people that are affected. You
True.
know,
It's like,
every,
yeah, yeah,
it's
one
more
person
like
sneezed and everyone caught colds. Yeah.
exactly, and it's so unfortunate at this time that businesses are closing down,
True.
and
People are losing their jobs. People are
exactly.
falling into bad habits, depression. It's such a trying time. I can't even lie. It really is such a weird time to be.
Yeah, and the sad part is, in as much as you know, the government authorities are trying to do their best to help, it's not even a
Mm-hmm.
good time for individuals to even speak out because some people have
Nah.
been going through challenging situation even before COVID started.
True though. True.
Now COVID has trumped on the
It kind
whole
of
thing,
just
so
amplified it.
yeah, so it's
True.
more like, double, and people are being careful of who to ask for help or who to even approach. Even in every nation, we had to keep pleading with members. Like, if you're
I can
going through stuff,
imagine.
like, just let us know. We'll support you any way we can. So,
Yeah.
that brings me down to the topic, what we're gonna be talking about, making the
Mm-hmm.
most,
Of
in these challenging situations of
yeah.
life, and first I would like to you to start with, what can you say about this whole situation, because everybody has their own perspective about it,
Yeah.
so what can you say from your own point of view, from your own domain, from your own zone? What can you say about it?
Um. I'm not going to lie to you. I think why this is a lot more amplified than any other bad situation that we might face in life is because kind of like the whole world is in the same situation. So
Okay.
obviously, each and every one of us have been through like trying times. We've been through times where there's been anxiety, there's been fear, there hasn't been enough. So it's not the first time that people are going through such a time as this. I feel like it's just amplified because the entire world is actually in the same situation.
Okay.
So I feel like everyone is just kind of trying to just get along. Everyone is trying to find a survival mechanism. A lot of people are trying to hold still to their routines because, well, people have lost schedules, people have lost routines, some people have lost jobs, and it's actually so crazy. So the reason why, obviously, Tomiwa, invited me to do this, and the reason why we're both doing this is just to kind of help people to see that in every situation you can make the most out of it. Okay.
True.
And I think we all have like personal events that have happened in our lives where we felt, oh my God, this is literally the end of my life, and somehow, you know, God has made beauty out of it. God has made, you know, something so big come out of it. And if you look at it generally, if you look at the history of people who are, do amazing things in life today, you see that, you know, those big ideas came out of a place of so much pressure, so much pain, you know, so much issues. So I really feel like while it's a time where everyone is in a form of, you know, I wouldn't say mourning, but it's just not a very certain time. There's a lot of uncertainty around, you know, those are the times where God is going to be birthing some of the most beautiful things if we are, you know, patient to sit and listen and wait. So I'm really, really excited, in as much as obviously it's not a very good thing that's going on, but then there is beautiful things coming out of it, and I'm really excited. I'm actually really, really excited.
Yeah, you know, yesterday at church, you know, I was talking to a brother, and we came to realize, and even my
Online,
resident
so
pastor said,
church online. Who was online?
well, I was, you know, always in church, you know, so we were talking, and the resident pastor said, he said, I'm talking about the US, I don't know about any other country, you know, he
Yeah.
said, in as much as the whole pandemic thing is affecting business and a whole bunch of people, he said, you know, there's a good number of people that are even still making much more dollars,
Yeah.
even at this time, you know, and that really struck with me, that even in this situation, some people's finances are not even in any way affected.
Facts.
You know, and whereas some other people have been badly affected, you know, by this thing. So, you know, it's gonna lead me down to, you know, my first question. I like the overview you gave about the whole pandemic situation. My first question is this, because in life we can't subtract the place of creativity.
Facts.
You understand? Creativity exists even in the midst of certainty and uncertainty. So my first question is this: what can you say about the place of creativity in the midst of uncertainty? Because even in this own pandemic situation, people don't even know what the outcome is going to be. Some people don't know what's going to happen next week. Most people don't know what's going to happen next month, you know. So what can you say about the place or the power of creativity in the midst of uncertainty?
I think one thing is certain. Okay, like I feel like some people, you know, they've been creative even right before this time, and obviously what this period is going to do is just testing how consistent you are or how diligent you are to your craft, you know, regardless of what is going on. So that's it on one side. On the other side, I feel like this period is actually bringing out creativity in a lot of people, and I mean creativity, like literally creativity, and also like figuratively. So I'll give you an example. I think by the second week of this quarantine period, I have a friend, you know, she's usually just an outgoing person. She's not a very creative person. Suddenly she starts sending me pictures of stuff that she had been drawing. Like, this is literal creativity, right? She starts sending me stuff she has been drawing, and then she tells me, send me a picture of you, I want to draw you. Okay. And I did send it to her. She made this picture and she sent it back to me, and it was so beautiful, you know. And I kept saying to her, like, this is really good, because this period is also kind of bringing out, you know, something that you didn't even know was in you, if that makes sense. And I think that for a lot of people, you know, this extra time that we're spending with ourselves, this extra time we're spending with family, with friends, some of us are just by ourselves. It's a beautiful time, because people are getting to know themselves. Because in all the busyness of life, some of us get carried away with work, with school, with church, you know, busy here and there. We don't have time to actually sit ourselves and really ask ourselves, find out, you know, what really interests me, you know, what am I really good at. So I feel like creativity is being birthed even more in this period. And then for those people who had been creative before now, they kind of finding out how consistent they are in this craft. Even now that, you know, I'm not actively at work, I'm not actively doing something with friends out there, I'm at home, am I still being creative? Am I still making the most of, you know, all the resources I have, my skills within me? So it's doing two things. I think this period is testing creativity in people. And secondly, it's also being birthed from people, because some people are finding out new things about themselves that they never knew. So it's like on two sides. But I feel like it's going to be even better at the end when we're out of this entirely. You know, so many people are going to come forth with so many new hobbies, so many new skills that they didn't even realize that they had. And I think it's such a good thing, honestly.
Wow, that's amazing. I love the part where you said that this period is testing creativity. You know, so it's more or less like COVID came with an advantage and a disadvantage.
True that.
You know, that's amazing. So my second question will be, creativity has its place, and
Mm-hmm.
also one has to be authentic even in the light of creativity. So do you believe that even in this period, because now that everyone is trying to find different mode of survival, even
Yeah.
churches, I try not
Yeah.
to, when I'm having sessions like this, I try not to talk about church, so people are just gonna be like, oh, Tomiwa, you're just being spiritual about the whole thing, but that's really
Yeah.
the light of it. Churches are closing, churches are confused about platforms to
Yeah.
reach out to members. So, it's so funny that even at this point, we have churches online, but their members are not online. So it's like you're reaching out to another
Yeah. It's the
church
people who
member.
aren't there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they are not your members, but you just have to
Yeah.
make do with it. So, do you believe in the ideology of staying true to authenticity, even in the light of, the pandemic thing, in the light of being creative? Like, do you believe that one can still be authentic? You can still be your real self, even
Yeah.
as you're reaching out to people social media wise, or as you're trying to make do with the best of life? Can you still be
Yeah.
authentic? Can you still be real?
I mean, like, I feel like the obvious answer to that is definitely yes. I don't see why a pandemic should affect our authenticity. I don't see why suddenly, because the world is in, a phase, you're starting to be a different person. I feel like authenticity, maybe you learn new things about yourself, but you don't necessarily change just to accommodate, a
Hmm.
new thing that has happened and all of that. So I think it's definitely possible to still remain like yourself, still remain real and true to yourself, regardless of what is going on. Like I said before, the only big and beautiful thing that would happen at the end of this is people would have gotten to know themselves a bit more. And I think that's a good thing, because that even makes you truer to your authenticity, makes you truer to yourself. Because if you have things within you that you
Hmm.
don't even know exist, or you don't even know that they are there within you, suddenly through this period you're starting to realize, oh, I can do this, I can do that, or I don't really like this, I don't really like that. At the end of the day, you're even a truer version of yourself. So I really, really think that it's authenticity is, it's not going to be affected by what's going on at the moment. Honestly, I think that's the thing
Okay.
that would be least affected.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's good one that you said. So now, so we've established that we could be creative even at this
Yeah.
period and still remain
Mm-hmm.
authentic and still remain real.
True.
Now, if someone wants to do that, but they don't have the means, they don't have what it takes, because sometimes your creativity might involve resources that is way
Mm,
beyond you. Your
true.
being authentic will require you to, like, okay, I want to be myself in this thing. I don't want to bend rules or anything. It will require a
Mm-hmm.
whole bunch of people to come around to support you, to lift you up. Sometimes you might even have to request for funds. So,
Yeah.
this next question is, there are a good number of people that they don't really have much stuff.
Yeah.
They don't have what it takes to launch out. They don't have what it takes to even survive, even
Mm-hmm.
in this period. So, we have this saying from them that no one cares about the stuff I have. No one
Yeah.
cares about my being real. No
My
one
gifts.
cares about my product. No one cares about
Mm.
my gift, my product. No
Yeah.
one cares about the talent I'm about to unleash to the world,
Mm.
even in this period. So,
Mm.
how do you attack such a statement?
Mm. Okay. Honestly speaking, I believe that we always do things with what we have where we are. I don't believe that you always need to start that big, okay? Particularly if you know you
Okay.
honestly don't have the resources. Where you are, do with, as in with what you have, make the most of it. Okay, that's what we call resourcefulness. So whatever you have, you're trying to see, how can I make this better? How can I use this to achieve what I want? And I believe that if you're thinking right and if you're in that mindset, you definitely find a way to grow something, no matter how small you've got. And I think another big thing is, no one should be thinking. I feel like um yeah, basically my point is just that resourcefulness, okay, that we all need to be resourceful, with what you have, make the most out of it. You don't have to be on a big scale. And I was going to talk about motive. So what is your motive or
Right.
intention behind trying to have that big thing that you're trying to do? Is it to get attention? Is it for fame? Is it for money? If you're not able to answer the why behind it, there's every tendency that it wouldn't even get to the level that you want it to get to. So I think everyone just needs to be true to themselves. You don't need to do things to attract certain attention. You just need to
Hmm.
focus on whatever it is that God is leading you into. Be diligent with it. And that's the thing about diligence. Like, I feel like people just get attracted. I know that there's a science and there's an art behind it. However, the science and diligence comes the fame that you're looking for and the money as well. So I feel like having a motive behind everything that we're doing, no matter how small it is, no matter how large it is, and trusting process. There's certain things that we cannot rush, okay? Process, in
Mm-hmm.
everything that we do, there's that process, there's that system. And if we try to deviate it, what will happen is we're going to end up building things on a foundation that isn't strong. And then suddenly everything comes crashing down. So I really feel like some of us just need to be diligent, and we need to commit ourselves to the process. I just believe that with time, some of these things will happen. So yeah.
Now you talked about process. To be honest
I
with
knew you were
you,
gonna do that.
that was that's something I never wanted to hear when I was in high school,
Yeah,
because
me
I
neither.
was I was from that school of thought that once you have your parents and you have a
Yeah,
family, you get whatever you want. You know those that grew up in a family of where your parents will sit you down and tell us what you want to do. And when you tell them, well, I want to become a doctor. So your parents are not the one trying to figure out medical schools that you can go to.
yeah,
They'll
they
pay
do it all
for
for
it,
you.
and some parents are they're as terrible as they'll tell you once you graduate, this job was waiting for you. Once you
Yeah,
graduate, this car is waiting for you. Once you
that's
graduate,
privilege.
this you get all of that. So I didn't like to hear that word. I felt like it was for the less privileged. So now I wanted
Yeah.
to talk about it because now I've come to terms to realize that everyone that wants to get into the bracket of greatness, you just have to go through the process.
Facts.
You can't
Facts.
jump into it. You can't jump into it. Those who jump into it don't last.
Yeah,
That's
there's no
that, that that's
sustain.
the
It's not sustainable.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I want you to talk about it because I know there are some people out there just like me. They don't like to hear process. They're like, no, well, if this person is there, then I can do it. I
Yeah.
want you to talk about that.
Okay. Fantastic. Okay, so I would say that naturally, I don't think human beings, we were created to wait. We don't like waiting. We just want to get into things. We want to now, want it instant. And I think it's worse in our generation because we have so much technology that kind of makes things, faster. It kind of just makes things quick for us. See, there's the microwave. If you want to do this now, you can just with the snap of your finger. So it has made us so impatient. Okay. However, if you go back, even looking at the Bible, looking at God's creation and all of that, there was an intentionality to how much God decided to do certain things at certain times, meaning that there was planning, there was process, and there was a system. So if suddenly we believe that now, okay, because of how instant and how fast our world is, we can also as we make that our life process is fast, or we can, facilitate our way to heaven. None of that is going to happen. So I think everyone just needs to know now that no matter how quick the world gets, okay, no matter how much technology advances us to the point where we are able to download food, I pray we get to that point. But even if we do get to that point,
Uh-huh.
when it comes to the issue of greatness, like you said, there is process. And there's something that Apostle Selman always says when he's speaking his messages. He says that any step you skip now, you pay for it later. Okay.
True.
So even
True.
if you're advanced by your parents, even if you're advanced by certain uncles and aunties, the parts that you missed, it's going to catch up with you later. And the way life is set up is you must account for it. So the part that you miss, you either go back and you learn it, or you miss something because of that step that you missed. And thinking about it, the former minister in Nigeria, I can't remember whether it's the finance minister, she had gotten all these accolades, she had risen to the point of a minister, and suddenly they're asking her for NYSC certificates and she's not able to present it. And then what happens? She has to resign because she didn't have
Yeah.
that. Now, that was a step that she missed in her process to greatness. And unfortunately, it caught up with her. And this is her in the political scene. Some of us were in the business scene. Some people are in academia. Some people are in, agriculture. There's several aspects to life. Any step that you miss, you're going to have to account for it. You're going to have to pay for it. So I'll just have to say that it's patience that we need. And it's honestly, it's only the Spirit of God that can give us that patience that we need. Because even the Bible says, what's love is patience, okay? So it's not something that is natural for human beings. You have to actually trust God that God is going to, make us patient people, and we're going to be true to process as well. And I believe that, for us Christians, knowing that God doesn't only know what's best for us, He wants what is best for us. I don't see why we're rushing, okay? I don't see why we're rushing. I feel like in every step that God is taking you through, all God wants you to do is to focus on Him in that step. When God sees, okay, it's time to move, He moves you. Okay, so there's no need to be scrambling, looking for connection, all of that. I know that there's a place for work, but then, that work should not now become a case of trying to rush your process because, well, you can't rush process. That's just it. And I'm just seeing it in life. You can't rush process.
Wow, I like that. You can't rush. process. You can't rush process, and this comes down to life. So I'm gonna ask you, and it's been amazing so far. Like you can see me typing on my
Thanks,
laptop,
Tomiwa.
like I'm just taking few stuff, that you say. So what do you have to say to this? I I saw something on the internet. I
Okay.
really I can't give credit to whoever wrote it because I couldn't find the person who wrote it. It was just like
Mm.
a blog thing. It says, "Don't merely expect more from life. The
Yeah.
act of demand is mostly needed." Now, you
Mm.
talked about process.
Mm.
You talked about human beings not having the tendency to wait, but we're really, really expected to wait. So I say,
Mm.
don't merely expect much from life. The
Mm.
act of demand is mostly needed. So, how do you
Balance it.
integrate? How do you balance between demanding what you need to get out of life and having to wait, like follow the
Yeah.
process?
Yeah, thank you. And I think it also ties to a question that someone just asked. Grace said, but in Nigeria, everything is connection. I don't know, in Nigeria, our system is just not, it's not, as in,
Nigeria
I think
system is
when it
off.
comes to Nigeria, I think we need to have a separate conversation, okay? Now we're talking
Yeah,
about the
Nigeria
ideal
system is
world.
off. Yeah,
We're talking about the ideal world, but Grace, I totally get you. But no matter where we are in life, I feel like the grace of God is with us, and the Spirit of God will always see us through.
hmm
But somewhat, if you don't mind, okay, so your question was basically asking how do we balance that place of waiting and that place of demanding
demanding.
what life should give us, right?
hmm
Okay, so I don't know. I think the demand in that context isn't necessarily refusing to wait. I think it's a thing more of hard work and diligence. I think when it says demand, because the world is going to reward hard work, it's going to reward diligence. That's how life is. So if you work hard, you kind of attract a certain thing to you. If you're trying to get a promotion, you're trying to get a pay rise or something, if you're diligent to it, it's going to come. There's also the place for networking. Okay,
Okay.
so they say always be in the right place at the right time. So sometimes you can be in the right place, but it cannot be the right time. Sometimes it can be the right time, but it might not be the right place. This is where discernment comes in, Tomiwa. I don't think that we can eliminate discernment from this whole process, because there are people today who work hard. They work like elephants. They eat like ants.
Mm.
Okay, so it's not just about okay, knowing I'm working hard. There needs to be, like, you have to apply wisdom even to your hard work. That's what some people say, that it's not hard work, it's smart work, and I totally agree with that, because there's a place for wisdom, there's a place for discernment, and I believe that the Spirit of God kind of always anchors us and leads us in the place that we should go. So I don't believe that your diligence is going to take the place of your waiting, okay, or your diligence is
Yeah.
going to take the place of your patience. All of these things work together hand in hand, okay. And it comes down to an individual, like how rounded are you in God's spirit, how rounded are you, in the things of God, because God will tell you sometimes, when you're being patient, sometimes Spirit of God will tell you, oh, now is the time to speak to this person, now is the time to do this, now it's time to do that, okay. And then sometimes Spirit of God will tell you, wait. Sometimes the Spirit of God will tell you, wait. So that's what I'm saying, that the big thing when it comes to balancing this thing is discernment. Okay. If you don't have discernment, you're not going to know when should I wait. You're not going to know when should I go for it. And this is where the Spirit of God leads us. But Grace, I totally get you. So Grace in the comments said, in Nigeria, everything is connection. But yeah, God is your connection. Honestly speaking,
Yeah.
I feel like there's what we call favor, and we always say it, favor over hard work. Okay, favor over hard work. People that say
hmm
that you must suffer before you get something, God can give it to you without you having to suffer for it.
True.
So
True.
I just think that even in Nigeria, as crazy as that system is, I'm telling you, God is still doing amazing things in and through people. So it's just a place of staying in that secret place and allowing the Spirit of God let you know, okay, when do I do this, when do I not do this, when should I be patient, when should I go out and apply for that job and all of that. So yeah, discernment, that's what I would say.
That's amazing. I love the discernment. Wow, that's amazing. And I've totally taking notes of a whole bunch of great stuff that you said. And this is my last question. And
Yeah.
before I give you, a bigger platform to just talk more about, whatever is laid up in your heart as regards making the best out of this situation that the
Mm.
world has found themselves. So creativity and being real, gift, talent, and all of that. We established all that, and
Mm-hmm.
this last question is just to put everything in a very good envelope and just mail it out to people. Now, how do I? And I'm speaking from a layman Nigerian.
Mm.
If there's anything like that, I'm speaking from a typical Nigerian boy.
Yeah.
How do I merge my aspirations, my gifts, my dream, my thinking? How do I merge all these things, my vision, with my environment?
Mm,
How do I merge it with the environment that I find myself?
mm,
We have great people,
mm,
but they found themselves in the wrong environment. And for a very long time, I used to think environment was just your surrounding,
mm,
only for me to realize that environment could be your relationship, it could be your
mm,
marriage, it could be your
mm,
church, it could be your
mm.
workplace, or it could even be your family, which is even the scary part.
Yeah, true.
Because if it's marriage, you can easily, either separate or divorce. But if it's
Both of
family, you can't walk out of that family.
you can.
People still know you, the blood still
Yeah,
runs and all of that. So how do I
yeah.
merge all these things?
Mm,
how do I balance all these things in this kind of environment? How do I
mm,
ensure that the greatness that God has established for me is
mm,
still being possible and effective?
mm. Um, that's a very, very, very big question, and it's really not just a straightforward answer, because even I personally believe that we are products of our environments. Like, I believe that, people become who they are as a result of the environments that they've been in. So I'll
Mm,
give you examples. Every day we go out and we meet people doing the weirdest things, the silliest things, and honestly, that's where grace comes in, because you're like, why are you behaving like this? But you need to step back and realize that this person is coming from a background, okay? This person has a way that they've been brought up, and they are just reacting the way that they would have, reacted growing up. So I really strongly believe that we are products of our environments. However, I feel like the Bible tells us that God is fair and God is just.
yeah.
Okay, so I never ever make myself a victim. I never think of myself as, okay, because I was born in Nigeria, or because I am a Nigerian, somehow I'm disadvantaged. No, as a matter of fact, I believe that the one with God is the one who is advantaged. And I feel like
Yeah.
if more people have this mindset, okay, if more people believe that, no matter where I am, no matter how much my parents earn, no matter what my take home salary is, okay, I believe that I have the Spirit of God, and the Spirit of God is able to make me excellent. The Spirit of God is able to make me great. And I think a big, big consolation for us is looking at people who have gone ahead of us. Okay, there's so many people in the world today who started from absolutely nothing. Okay, they weren't as big as they are from childhood. There's some people who have thrived from their parents' wealth, but then there's some people who have started from nothing, and today they are doing amazing things, which tells us that it is possible. Okay, it's when we begin to settle in that victim mindset, that mindset of, well, Nigeria is not fostering, taking care of me. Nigeria is, the system doesn't work for me. That is when things begin to happen. That's when we begin to feel disadvantaged. So I think it's
Mhm.
a mindset thing. Okay, I think it's a mindset thing. My greatness is not affected because I am Nigerian. My greatness is not
Amazing.
affected because I went to a public school. My greatness is not affected because I'm this and that. There is no excuse whatsoever that we can give to ourselves for stopping our greatness, because there are people who have been where we are. But then we need to also take it easy on ourselves. Okay, we can't always, and a big thing I was going to say, and I'm still going to talk about that, is contentment. Okay, that is
Yeah.
where contentment comes in. The issues arise when we begin to compare and contrast, where we begin to compete with people. That's when we feel like we need to do this, we need to have this, we need to do all of that. When we are in a place of contentment, none of these things would arise. And that is why I'm saying that, we just need to, be satisfied with process, and also have the mindset that, I've got the Spirit of God in me. God is going to see me through, no matter where I've come from, no matter the background or the environment. But then we also need to be gracious to people, because we don't know what they've been told growing up. So when they act differently around
Mm.
us, we need to be careful not to backlash, rather to try to understand, okay, where are you coming from, and try to correct. If it's a wrong mindset, attempt to correct, through friendship and all of that. So that's what I would say.
Wow, I love that. I love that. That's amazing. We're products of our environment. Regardless of that, we can still make the best out of whatever environment that
Mm-hmm.
we find ourselves. It's been an amazing almost 35 minutes with Ruby, and just like I said, she blew the roof yesterday at THN, and now she's doing
No,
the same.
come on.
She's doing the same
There was no roof,
right
but okay.
here. One thing about me that most people have come to terms with is when I see grace, when I
Mm,
see light, I celebrate it. I
mm,
celebrate grace and I celebrate light. And
mm.
you're such a great light, not just in your world, but all across, which is something
I shouldn't be blushing on like Instagram, but thanks.
something I'm excited for. Now we are in the society where
Mm,
women have been given a voice.
Mm.
You understand? And women are now being bold to speak. You know, I grew up with the mentality of certain professions were just for the men, but
Mm.
the case is different now. Case is different, and it's so amazing that you are a light and you're not hiding yourself.
I
You're
can
not
life can
you're not
hide.
limiting yourself to your circle. Yeah, you're not limiting yourself to the circle of friends you have. You're
Mm.
reaching out, and I'm just so super excited about you. So now we're just going. I'm trying to end this in like 5-10 minutes. I always love
Yeah.
to keep to time. So now
Yeah.
I'm giving you the platform. Now talk
Yeah.
to Nigerians, talk to your followers, talk to my
Everyone.
followers. How do you
Speak.
make the best out of this situation?
Yeah, okay. I've just written a few things down. So if you see me looking down, don't be mad. I'm just looking at my notes that I made, and
Okay,
I'm just going to
okay,
quickly summarize it in like 5-6 minutes. So I
okay.
think a big thing that I really wanted to put out there is the fact that we don't actually get what we deserve. So what happens in life is that when bad things happen to people, it's not because they've been bad. When good things happen to people, it doesn't mean that they've been good. Okay. So I really want us to understand that the way life is set up, it doesn't work that way. So don't ever begin to now think that, okay, because I've been bad, that's why this thing has happened to me. God doesn't even work that way. So we need to have that in mind. I think another big thing I would like to encourage people is don't look at God through the lens of life occurrences. Don't look at God through the lens
Mm,
of life situations. So you find a lot of Christians in this period, they're beginning to doubt God and they're thinking, if God is so good, why are we in such a phase as this? Okay. However,
mm,
I've trained myself to think, regardless of what happens, no matter what happens, God is good. So in Corona,
true.
what I'm declaring is, God, you're good, and your goodness will be seen, even in this season, even in this
Amen.
period.
Amen.
Okay. So it's a mindset thing. When we begin to reduce God to what's going on in our lives, you find that we now begin to now doubts like, God, is this really you? If this is really you, none of this would be happening. But it doesn't work that way. Okay, we live in a fallen world, so the tendency that evil things will happen will be seen. However, in spite of all the evil things happening, God is with us and God is able to see us through. Okay, if we have that
Amen.
mindset, then we will be perfectly fine. I think the other part I wanted to say was, I'm so glad, because this period I feel like a lot of us have more time. Spend time with
True.
yourself. Spend time with yourself. Some people don't know themselves. They don't know their interests. They don't know what they enjoy. They can't
Mm,
even like, you don't even know so much about yourself. And then it's funny because these same people now want to go and enter relationships when you don't know yourself. Okay, I feel like
mm,
this season, this period is a time for you to actually get to know yourself, get to spend, because I mean, Christians have been shouting it, spend time with God, spend time with God. Me, I'm telling you, spend time with yourself. Spend time with yourself first, even, because God is going to, even when you go and work with God, it's from the knowledge of yourself that you will even feed off the knowledge of God,
that's right.
and then God will even begin to show you more about yourself. So spend time with yourself. I think second to the last thing I'd say is avoid pity parties. Okay, I know that this period is very trying. It's very, it just a certain kind of way. Don't create pity parties for yourself. I believe that in every situation there are silver linings, and silver linings are the beautiful, the bright parts of any dark thing. No matter how dark something is, there's that little light there. So look for that light and celebrate it. Okay, and I'll just give a quick example. I think there was a point in my life when my dad had a stroke, and it was such a horrible period of my life. Like, it was so horrible, but then I had to tell myself, what's the beautiful part of this? And the beautiful part, I got to spend more time with my dad. So my dad
Wow.
was he's such a workaholic. He's always traveling, he's always here, he's always there, and I hardly had time with him growing up. Suddenly he had a stroke and he was home often, and that was the best part for me, because I now got to know who he was. He got to know me. So this is the silver lining I'm talking about. In every negative situation, there's a bright part. Okay, in
Mm-hmm.
this corona period, there's a beautiful part of yourself, there's a beautiful part of your life, there's a beautiful part of God that God is trying to reveal to you. So
True.
you need to quiet down, stop the pity party, stop the anger, and just allow yourself learn and see through the entire process. Finally, allow for character reformation. God is doing so
Mm,
much in each and every one of us. See, all of us that are home, we're spending time with friends or with family. What's happening is that we're being tested. So people are making you angry, or things are happening. So there's a character reformation that is going on. God is reforming us. God is transforming and doing amazing things in each and every one of us. But if we are not sensitive to the process, we are going to miss out on it. So a big thing I would say is also be conscious of all the things that God is doing in you in this period. Okay, because at the end of it, you're going to also give account of it. And I'll just close finally on contentment. That's the biggest thing. Like, I really want us to go away with this, from particularly those in Nigeria. Okay, contentment. God didn't make a mistake, birthing you where you were birthed, or giving you the parents that He gave you. When you see things, I think, and that's why God wants us to have a heart of gratitude. When we have that heart of gratitude, we're not quick to complain, we're not quick to compare, we're not quick to compete. We're just satisfied knowing that, okay, the Lord of the universe decided that this is where I'll be, and He has a purpose for it, and so I'm going to enjoy it. So just enjoy the process and trust God. So that's what I'm going to say, Tomiwa. I think I'm done.
Wow, wow. Thank you so much, Ruby.
Thank you,
You're an
Tomiwa.
amazing person. You're an amazing
Tomiwa, so are
person.
you. So is
Thank
everyone
you.
listening to this.
Thank you so much. So I'm going to give room for, just one or two questions because I'm trying to run out of here in the next 4 minutes. So let's see if anyone comes up with a question
Okay.
you want
All
to
right.
ask
Hi,
that
Kelechi.
anything. So before we close the session, and it's been
Yeah,
amazing. It's been amazing. I think one
it
big
has.
thing everyone should leave here with today is to be contented with
Mm. Hi,
whatever they
Chisom.
have or whatever wherever God has placed them. And regardless of Corona, regardless of whatever it is, you can still make the
Hi,
best.
Hira.
You can make the best out of it. You can still amount to something great. I've
Yeah,
always believed that. I've always believed that. Wow. So it's been amazing, and
it has.
I love ladies on this platform, women. Connect with this great grace. Connect with our platform. And network. Like she said. Always something great to tap from, and saying a big thank you. Thank you for
Thank you,
saying
Tomiwa.
yes to
Thank you
being
so much
live
for
with me
having
on
me.
Instagram. So amazing. So we're just gonna close out. I don't see any question. Okay. Okay, someone said, I love how you said use your resources to be the best of your ability. My dad always told me that. Yeah, that's true. She said that. You know, make use of the resources that you have, the little, that
Mm-hmm.
you have. It's always gonna get multiplied. It's always going
Always.
to, it's gonna build up to something. So we've learned so much from
I'm glad.
Ruby, and that
I'm
was
so glad. Thank you so much for having me, Tomiwa.
that was
Thank you for
great.
everyone who joined in. It was so
Yeah.
good to catch up. And feel free to catch up because some people joined late, so you can watch the full thing on
Yes, definitely.
Tomiwa's
And
Instagram.
also
You're welcome, Naomi.
my team is going to work on the video so they'll get it on YouTube so
Oh,
everybody gets
fantastic.
to watch
All
the
right.
whole thing. Yeah. So
All
thank you
right.
so much, Ruby.
Sounds good. Thanks,
Thank
Tomiwa.
you. Yeah, I
Have an
love you,
amazing evening.
and I celebrate you.
I celebrate you too.
Yeah.
Oh, I love your pastor English. I love you and I celebrate
Thank you.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Bye, guys.
All right. All right. It was an amazing session with Ruby, yeah. And I believe every one of us has been blessed. And now we've come to terms that we can make the best, out of even this situation. And that's one thing I've always been talking about, even since the month of March. First I started addressing the issue about being fearless, activating the fearless mode, and I came down to this month to make people realize that, you can still receive a good news even in the midst of uncertainty. You can still bring and produce your best, even in this situation where the world seems confused, world powers, world leaders seems confused. You don't have to be confused as a child of God because the Spirit of the Father is on the inside of you. And the Father was never confused. The Father was never stranded. The Father was never helpless. As a matter of fact, the Spirit of God on the inside of you is supposed to help you and energize you, you know, giving you the strength, giving you the pathway to greatness. So disregard every news you're hearing about this situation and focus on the Jesus' news. Focus on what the word describes you to be. Focus on that great gift, that great vision that He has given unto you, even as everyone has been advised to stay indoor. Do not let your hands be crippled. Do not let your hands be tied down. The scripture says, whatever your hand finds to do, do it well. Do it well. So even in this season, whatever you can do, start doing it well. And you will see how it will lead you to your path of greatness. So thank you so much for joining. And this video is going to be made available on my YouTube platform, Tomiwa on YouTube. And, you can, if you want to be a part of, the Avian Nation, or you want to reach out to me in any way, like I always tell people, Telegram is pretty much the best platform that you can reach me, and you can check the link on my bio. It gives you access to the Avian Nation website. It gives you access to every of my social media platform, and also if you want to, join the Avian Nation, you can go through that platform as well. If you want to listen to my podcast, any audio podcasting platform, you get to listen to it. And I work with my team to ensure that even this video is converted. The live video is converted to audio, so you can get to listen to it over and over again. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Thank you, to Rubie's followers, my followers, everyone that joined. Super excited we had this, and it's gonna be coming your way, every now and then. Don't have a very busy schedule, but I'll still do my best to always come online to be a blessing to as many as I can. And I'll be bringing up another guest very soon, so you get notified. Just stay tuned to my Instagram page or any of my social media platforms. Just follow, like, share, subscribe, do whatever you're required to do. Thank you so much for joining. It's amazing having you. And guess what? I love you and I celebrate you.
See, walking in your direction, He will do what I said He will do. He will do what He promised.